Guys, hello. How are we doing tonight? Hi. I see one person is on. Do you mind telling us if you could hear us? Did somebody say something? Hi, guys. All right, so you're here. Awesome. You guys can hear me. Are you hearing an echo? I'm getting an echo on my end. Do you guys hear an echo? I see someone's in Mexico. Hi, Christine and Elizabeth, Carol. And there's someone, I can't see, it just says Facebook user. All right, so we're good. No echo. Good. I don't mind an echo. I can get over it, right? All right, so tonight we're kind of going back to basics with our slimline die cutting system. So we're going to make a full size slimline card tonight. Um, I that will be featuring our original slimline die cutting system, this circle right here. And then we're also going to use the largest rectangle that comes in the nested rectangle, also die cutting, slimline die cutting system. So all the die cutting systems were created to flow together and to layer one rectangle on top of the other. And also all the inserts are made to fit all of our slimline die cutting dies. And you can also use them on A2 as well as mini slimline. So that's what we're going to be working on tonight. So we're working on using the original slimline die cutting system and the nested slimline die cutting system together to make a birthday card. So this month we kind of had a little theme going on with all of our pink that we had. So we released a stamp set that is called When Birthday Pigs Fly. So this is what it looks like. Put the cover behind it. So this is what the stamp set looks like. It's called When Birthday Pigs Fly. So when I was a little girl, saying, "Oh, that'll happen when I see pigs flying," right? Hi from Guatemala. So I thought this would be really fun for a birthday card stamp set, all about when pigs fly, because pigs are not supposed to fly, right? But we all love pigs. So we're going to be working with this stamp set tonight. And I have gone ahead and colored them already. And I did watercolor them with Distress ink. As Distress ink taken from Distress ink pads, as well as from the direct refills. I don't always use the refills. Oh, that's fun, Carol. I don't always use the refills when I color. I usually just steal the ink outside of the cubes. However, I did end up needing to use quite a bit of yellow and the Citron, Twisted Citron and the Kitsch Flamingo. If you don't have this color Kitsch Flamingo in the Distress ink, guys, you got to go buy it. This is my favorite pink. All right, so what we're going to do is, oh, by the way, my name is Nicole Peterson. Welcome to Picket Fence Studios. I'm the owner and designer behind our brand. We're a small stamp die company in South Louisiana. So this is our last night of our 7 and 7. So for June 2022, we'll be back in July. But tonight, we're going to make a slimline birthday card. So I have everything already, not everything, but most everything is prepared. And I like to keep it in one of these little pouches. I actually keep everything in these little pouches. And if you see, this is a 4x8 stamp set that fits great within our pouches. I'll turn it this way for you. And as well as it has the perfect little pocket. And what I like about these, other than being very thick, very, very thick plastic, they're also welded together. And what I mean by that is, do you see this little strip right here? So they're die cut, and then they actually melt it together. So they're welded together. So the plastic is like sealed together. Oh, thank you. So it's sealed together. So this one, I have a 4x8 stamp set with the accompanying dies. However, one time, I guess I wanted to see what it looked like, and I actually cut one of them. I cut the top of this one off, and I trimmed it down to exactly 4x8. So, it would be a little bit smaller than this. Now, I do like trimming it down a little bit. However, dust. That's the only thing. After I thought about it for a little while, I thought, I don't know. So I will have to see which way I'm going to continue, just leaving it whole, or if I'm going to trim that top up. And look how nice. I mean, it trims like beautiful in just a regular paper trimmer. Okay, so this is what I keep my things in. We also will be using this sentiment here from Forest Critters stopping by to say, hey, this is one of my also favorite critter collection that we have. And we're going to be using, of course, I'm building a scene, so I have to use tall grass, right? I mean, it's kind of my signature move when it comes to scene building. Now, so this is called Slimline Tall Grass. And if you turn it the other way, it actually looks like ice. Okay? So this is a really good die cut. And I use it all the time. So what we're going to do first is, let me take everything out my pouch that I have here. Can't see anything. I've got yellow on me already. Ah, I see. I've got yellow on my pouch. That's why. All right. So I have already colored and die cut the piggies that I'm going to be using. I actually colored too many of them because I wasn't sure which ones I was going to use. So I have them already colored and die cut. And I used Tim Holtz Ranger Distress ink. Okay. I need to be able to see. All right. So I'm going to put my little piggies back in here so I don't lose them. And that's probably the last thing we're going to be doing tonight. So let's put them far away. So what I decided to do is, I know you guys have asked me before how to do this, where I basically turn a piece of paper into whatever color that I want. So this is actually, I took this out the drawer that I already had die cut, and probably from another card. And then I also had this die cut also. So I couldn't decide if I wanted to use the pattern paper grass, or if I wanted to use the one I actually did some ink splishing on. So we're going to come back to this, but I'm going to show you how to do this tonight. All right. So what I did is, one of the first things I did, I need to just wipe my hands. Somehow I have yellow. Okay. All right. Sorry. I have yellow ink all over me. Go figure, right? So I have already die cut for us tonight. I die cut the slimline nested rectangles, okay? And our original slimline die cutting system comes with 3 circles, okay? It comes with these 3 circles. So I die cut a piece of paper with the largest nested rectangles, this one on the outside, and then I pulled this circular insert off of here, and that's what I use to place down to cut my 3 circles. Now, so this is what it looks like. Okay. Now I know you're thinking, Nicole, I don't have 3 circles. I see you have 3 of the same exact circles, but I don't have 3 of the same exact circles, right? So you do though. Believe it or not, you do. Because guess what? These 2 circles are the same exact size. So you actually do have 3 circles to help you space the 3 circles that I die cut, because all 3 of these circles in the slim line and the original, well, all of the circles and all of the inserts that we have, even the ones we sell individually, are all the same size. So you actually do have 3 circles. You would just have to die cut this one first, remove these 2, move this one down, and so forth. Now I had 3 circles, so I went ahead and just taped the 3 of them together and put them down and was able to die cut them all at one time. But you can do the same thing. You just would have to use your other circles that come, or your individual circles, to figure out how far to put them apart. Or you could just measure and then use the measurements of the circle. But I'm not that good at that, okay? So it's better for me just to eyeball it and then gently tape it down like this and die cut it, okay? So that's how I got my circles, is I just laid it out and die cut the 3 of them together. All right, so that's how I created this panel. Now, we also are going to use this insert. And this insert might look strange. It might look a little strange, like, what's the deal? How is this going to turn into a sun? But you have to remember that with some of our inserts, you're playing around with the negative space. So this die right here, which is called, I'm not sure what it's called. It's someone's moderating tonight. Hopefully whoever's moderating can post us and tell us what this one looks like, what this one is called. But this is what it looks like when it's die cut. So it gives you this beautiful sun, okay? Isn't that cool? So I could just use this to build my scene, right? However, I was noticing, so this is the insert that we're going to be using also. But I noticed that, hold on. I noticed when I was thinking, well, what if I put this behind here, and then I can incorporate the little pigs like throughout my scene, right? So that's what we're going to do. So this is what I did. I die cut. So this is the mini slimline. If you guys wanted to know what our inserts look like on a mini slimline, this is what it looks like this. So this, you can see very clearly that you can use one of our inserts that are meant for the full slim line on a mini slim line, as well as A2. So that will show you. That was my original idea, that I was going to do a mini slim line. But I'm going to be honest, I like full size. I really do. So what I did is I did some ink smooshing on a glass mat, which I'm going to show you guys how to do right now, because I think we're probably going to use this grass because I did ink splooshing on the sun. I'm thinking it'll look best if we use the tall grass that also has ink on it. So probably won't use this one. So what we're going to do is, and you know, guys, you just pick your favorite greens. I usually use distress ink when it comes to something like this. However, oh, thank you, Charlene. I appreciate that. Are you our moderator tonight, Charlene, honey? I know Karen's on vacation, so she's been asking some of the other design team members to help out. Okay, so this is the tray that I keep all of my mini distress inks in. Now, I have all of them, but I used to own a store. So, you know, there's a reason why I have all of them. That was, you know, I also taught. So I'm going to pull out all of my favorite, no, not greens, blues, Nicole, because we are going to be ink splishing this whole front panel to make it look like a sky. Thanks, darling. All right, so I'm going to be working on this and making it look like a sky. So let me pick out all my favorite blues. So I do like faded jeans. I like Mermaid Lagoon. I always want to put a little bit of green, so I'm going to grab Savage Patina. Tumble Glass is my absolute favorite color of all inks in the entire world. I don't know what it is, but Tumble Glass is my favorite. It's just that perfect hue of blue. I'm also going to take out Broken China. Now you're going to be surprised. You know what color I'm not taking out? Stormy Sky. Stormy Sky is a great color if you want a stormy sky. But if you want a bright background, I usually try to stay away from Stormy Sky. So I'm just going to pick out some blues. I don't want my background to be too dark, so I'm not going to pick Chip Sapphire because that's like a nighttime sky. Today I did use this prize ribbon, which is one of his new colors. And actually, I'm going to use this prize ribbon instead of Faded Jeans because that one's kind of dark too. So I have Mermaid Lagoon, Savage Patina, Tumble Glass, Prize Ribbon, and Broken China. I pretty much always use Tumble Glass and Broken China in any kind of sky. So the trick to this is, so I have a clean glass mat, and I'm going to start with my lightest color, which is Tumble Glass. Now you can use your ink refills for this, but I always start with my lightest just in case, and I like a big area. Just in case I have to go back and add color, I always try to go with my lightest first. Now I'm going to try not to get that Tumble Glass into my Savage Patina, but Savage Patina is the perfect baby aqua green, if you ask me. I don't know how to explain it. It's a really, really soft, and it pretty much is the color of the ink pad. Next, I'm going to go with some Blue Lagoon. Now, you're going to see me using less of the color as we go on. And I did notice today I need to re-ink my Blue Lagoon. Some Broken China, because that's just, can't live without Broken China. And last, I'm going to use the darkest color, which I'm going to use less of. And if you haven't bought this prize ribbon, I thought at first it was a little close to, what is it? Blueprint Sketch, which is not my favorite, but it's because purple is kind of, I'm not going to say it if Sarah's on, but purple's kind of not my jam. But the prize ribbon is much more of a sapphire true blue than the Blueprint Sketch. Okay, so now I got this big old mess, right? Look at my hands, I keep picking up yellow. So now I have this big, huge mess going on. So I'm going to grab an ink sprayer. Now I have seen people talk about, obviously I don't work for Ranger, but I have heard people talk about, oh, I just use a regular sprayer, nothing special. And that is true if I was just working on stuff like this. But guys, I've tried to use a regular, cheaper sprayer. And these are only like, look, this is from my old store. So this was like $5, right? I really do like it. I went back to it after I tried using just a regular sprayer. Actually, the regular sprayer, you know what it did? It started smelling like mildew. Just randomly, the water smelled like mildew when it came out. It was very strange. Okay, so here I have my panel that I showed you how I die cut it, and I die cut it already. And I did go ahead and stamp my sentiment just to kind of save a little bit of time. You guys know how to stamp a sentiment. So I put a lot of water, and you can see it is starting to get muddy. But I don't like to oversaturate the water because, in my opinion, you can always go back and add more water, but you can't take water away, right? Okay, so, and this is on Strathmore Bristol Smooth. Anytime I'm doing anything with water, if I'm using expensive watercolors, then I'll use expensive water paper. But if I'm doing something like this with just regular ink, I'm going for the Bristol Strathmore Smooth. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to take it in. And I went ahead, normally I would not have stamped my sentiment. So there's one look. Normally I would not have stamped my sentiment beforehand. I would have waited. However, I've kind of started stamping my sentiment ahead of time lately. You know why? Because after you wet your paper's no longer completely flat, right? So I started stamping ahead of time. That way it would be easier for me to actually get my stamp, my paper to lay flat. Okay, so I'm going to dry this real quick. If it's not turned on though. It's plugged in. Uh-oh. Hey, babe. My heat gun won't work. Hold on, guys. For some reason, my heat gun decided not to work tonight. We're just going to test it out. Turn it on.
It's dead.
Yep, brand new one too. Here you go. Use this one. Must have gotten dropped one too many times. All right, so I'm not done with this. It's coming out way more stormy. Yeah, okay. Yes, it is coming out a little bit stormy. So I'm going to quickly dry this. Notice I'm not drying it on top of my ink. And you don't have to dry it all the way. Because I'm going to go back. I will be going back. I always want to make sure you dry the back and adding a little bit more color to this. But you see how I'm drying it in between? That's the trick. I know. And that's a brand new, this is a brand new, it's like brand new, like just bought this thing. But it's okay. I'll just call the company. Or who knows? I don't know. It might have got dropped. All right, so let me see. So I'm going to go back, and I didn't get a lot of green right there. So now I'm actually going to pay attention to where on my surface I see certain colors, and I'm going to go back. And if you noticed, this second time I'm picking up some of these colors, it's going to be darker, okay? Because believe some of this water has already started to evaporate. So this next time when I go on, especially where I live in South Louisiana, I mean, everything just dries so fast. All right, so see, I really like that patina. So you see the green is starting to pop up a little bit. Now, if you wanted to, you could add more water to this, or I could just wipe it all away. And if you don't have one of these cheap fiber, you know, which you dry your car with or something, you got to go get them because they're like the cheapest. So what I could do is I'm just going to come in and wipe all that away. And guys, remember, this is just a tiny little bit of ink, okay? Not much ink at all. Now I'm going to come back and I want more green. I don't want it to be like super green, but you know, skies are not always just one shade. Now, if you dig the color purple, you might want to go back and add some purple to this. I prefer green over purple. So there we go. That's it. I have my sky. Now, obviously, you can sit here and play around with it and take more time. Now, normally, I do this on a whole piece of paper. Literally. I take a whole piece of paper. It's what I should have done, actually. Instead of just wiping that ink away, I should have just laid down a piece of paper and then picked it all up. And then I could have saved all that ink, which I should have done. But I wasn't thinking. So let me wipe this away. This is one of those. This is from Glass Mat Studio Glass Mat. We did a collaboration with them months ago, and I love this mat. I mean, it's fabulous. Okay, so here's my background. Let me dry this real quick. Everybody cover their ears. You love 7 and 7. Thank you, Carol. Your dog. Oh, no. I was lucky to see if it's working. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to be honest. You just never know. I do have dogs. But I also have, it could have been dropped very easily. I'm not going to say it's not my fault because I do have the drops now. But the reason why I like that one is because it's the newer version of this Wagner, but this old one works just as well. But it does have the other one, the newer one has 2 settings to it, which I do like for when I'm heat embossing. And notice how I'm turning this back and forth. So I'm rotating it from the front to the back. And I'm moving my fingers. All right. Crystal smooth, baby, always. still a little wet. Pretty much I use Bristol Smooth 95% of the time. Unless it's something, if I'm using like expensive watercolors, then I'm going to use expensive watercolor paper. But other than that, oh yeah, Carol, you don't need to buy the new one if you have the old one. And you know, I only bought it because I do a lot of ink, a lot of clear embossing. Like every time I stamp, I clear emboss. All right, so now you can see. Do you see how the paper's not completely flat anymore? See, it's not warped. But you see it right there. It is a little. It's a little warped, but it's not completely warped. That's why I started stamping my sentiment before. About purple. No. I didn't say anything bad about purple. Nope, I did not. Y'all tell her the truth. I didn't say anything bad about purple. So this is why I stamped my sentiment before, because I knew I was going to get this wet. And if you look, this is our hybrid ink. You guys have seen us all use this all the time. This is Picket Fence Black Intense Hybrid ink. And look at it. It's perfectly black. No problems. So that ink, because Distress ink is translucent, I knew it would have no problems going over it whatsoever. All right. So now let's get down to the to the good part, not the dirty part, but dirty part's over. Now you see why I look like this today. So the first thing I want to do actually is I think we should adhere our yeah, let's see. We're going to put the sun behind the grass. Yes. So let's adhere our grass to the back of this first. And I am going to use liquid adhesive, and I'm going to apply it to the back of the card front. Because if I put it on the back of the grass, then, but I do want to make sure I get it all the way to that edge so it's nice and flat. I don't want to put glue on the back of the grass because you never know where the grass is going to fall. I mean, the front of the grass, I should say. So here I'm putting it on the back of the panel. And I made this green grass the same exact way I just made the front, except I normally do an entire page worth of ink smushing. I always say it wrong. I do an entire page worth. That way, after I die cut, I have a whole page left. I don't normally do just a front. Hold on. I've got to get it to go perfectly behind that card front. All right. I am going to push it down a little bit. Okay. So that I like the way that looks compared to pattern paper. This is what it would have looked with pattern paper. Okay. It might not have looked as good, but this looks really good because it's already has the green grass that's ink smushed. And now we're going to add our sun to the back of it like this. Like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am not going fauna dye. No, I'm just going to grab a pair of scissors. And since all of our inserts, like this, all the squares are the same size, all the circles are the same size, I know that I just need to cut around this enough to where I can take this now and I can glue it to the back of here and it would fit. Just want to make sure it doesn't overlap into either of these other circles, like so. And you know what? I'm actually going to use tape instead. But so instead, I could have my sun coming straight like this, but I think I want to have it cockeyed a little bit to the side, tilted to the side, just to make it, that way I can have a whole lot of that bottom portion of the sun showing, like so. So I'm going to flip this over and hold it down, make sure it's not overlapping on either one of those sides. And then I have some, normally I use liquid tape on everything, but when it comes to something like this, I'm going to start this out with adhesive that I can just slide underneath. This way it stays where I want it to be. And a lot of times I do what you see me doing now with regular Scotch tape. just regular scotch tape, nothing but like what you would wrap presents with. Except this is in my video room, not my desk, so I don't have that tape in here. So you see, look, beautiful. Don't you love the back of my card? It's so fabulous. And then when you turn it over, look how easy that was. Simple. Did not even need another die. All right. Now what we're going to do is I have all my piggies done. So this is why I didn't come to color with you guys, because I knew that you'd been asking me to show you how I did this. So let me get all my pigs and my birds out. And again, we are using the stamp set that is called When Birthday Pigs Fly. And I do label, because of, I have to label my stamps and dies and what month and year they released. But this is what it looks like. So there's a boy pig and a girl pig, each holding balloons. This one, it is a boy pig, but if you wanted to, you draw a little skirt on. Here we have two pigs just holding hands. These cute little birds, they're going in different directions. And then down here, this is a whole entire scene. This is one stamp and one die. Thank you, Charlene. This is just one stamp and one die. Now, a couple of people have asked me, why do we have two cakes? Well, that's because if you're putting the cake in the background, meaning far away, then you need a small cake. But if you're putting the cake in the foreground, which like we're going to be doing tonight, then you need a bigger cake. So I was just thinking just trying to help you guys build scenes to make things go forward and back. And then we have some cute little butterflies and some bumblebees. All right, so let me stick this back on. And it does have coordinating dies. I just keep my dies in my pouch, and you see they're right there, sandwiched between two magnet sheets that I just buy off Amazon. They're cheap. I think you get 100 for $30. It's really cheap. And they're good magnets. So here's all my little piggies. I do want to say oink, oink. Oh, you know what? I didn't grab. We have a sequence mix that's released. Oh, you know what? Let me push the grass up through here. That way, when I put this down, the grass is going to be on top of my card. I promise one day I won't use tall grass when I'm building a scene. I don't know what it is. I just think when I build scenes, I need grass. It just seems like something so I'm going to pull these. Well, that one's glued down. So I'm going to try to pull them towards the front. That way, give you a little bit more 3D dimensional look, pulling them to the front. The piggies are cute. Thank you. So I have the boy piggy. I colored him, and I did color him with a lot of pastel, like normal colors. I've watercolored these. But I didn't go back and add pencil color. I might, if I have time. I'm going to send this to my nephew. Usually I add pencil color on top to help give it a little bit of shading. Okay, so I've already kind of planned this out. So this little piggy is going to go right here. And then I thought the birthday cake would be cute to have kind of like, I don't know, in the center. And then we have a girl piggy. And then I have a boy piggy. Now, I did color 2 boys and 2 girls. So I could put these 2 piggies together. I feel like singing the piggy song. This little piggy went to the market. This little piggy. Did y'all sing? My mama used to sing that to us all the time. And I could do this. And even though they're the same characters, nobody who you get a card, you're going to send a card to, is going to say, you added that character twice. No. They're colored different colors. They're not the same. So you see this little girl and this little girl are the exact same stamp. And this little boy and this little boy are the exact same stamp. However, we're going to go ahead and double up on them. And what I did is, notice I purposely put them where their balloons are facing out, not facing each other. So in other words, I could have done it like this, where the balloons are next to each other. But you see that kind of like closes the area off, these balloons, okay? See how it closes the area off? Where if you look over here, you see how these balloons are facing out? Your eye is going to travel out and it's going to make the card look larger, if you will, and give you a lot more pleasant looking of the eye. So if you wanted to, though, you could put these two pigs with the balloons facing each other, and then these two pigs with the balloons out, if you wanted to make them look a little bit different. So let's see. I don't know. I think I like them with the balloons, all the balloons facing out, because I really do think that it opens up the card when the balloons are facing out. So these piggies are facing out. These, or they kind of fell, but you know, I like them out too. It makes much more sense to me. But notice these piggies are a different color pink than these. So these piggies have a lot more spun sugar than Kitsch Flamingo, and these have a lot of Kitsch Flamingo and picked raspberry. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to lay these flat down. So I'm going to start with my my birthday cake. And if I wanted to, I could move my birthday cake over a little bit more, but I think I'm going to leave him right there. Because I have some birds, these birds that I colored also. Now, when I colored the birthday cake, I just colored the frosting gray. Really didn't spend a lot of time with it, but the bottom of the cake, I wanted it to be chocolate, so I colored it brown. And then I'm always a yellow girl. I like the color yellow. So I knew I was going to have a sun and I was going to color the balloons yellow and the birds are yellow. So I made sure I had the napkin also yellow. So you can see that play on yellow. And when I taught elementary school, all of my bulletin boards in my classroom always had a yellow background. Every one of them. Like I would fill all the bulletin boards in my classroom with yellow backgrounds just because it made it so much easier when I changed bulletin boards for seasons or whatever for the kids, that if it was yellow, to me, that went with everything. So I just kind of saved myself a little bit of trouble and always went with a little bit of yellow. Thank God that this is one reason. Look, perfect. Don't work over your card, because that would have been horrendous if it would have fallen directly on my card. I did not put glue on his little balloon because we don't want him to stick to my glass mat. So let's put him down. Yeah, I like the balloons facing out too. Definitely. I think it truly makes it open up and makes your scene look larger. Okay, now I'm going to start with these over here. This is why I like our slimline system, because you get these circles and they all work together. They're all the same size and they all play well together and they all layer together. And you know who also uses them a lot is Karen. If you watch a lot of Karen's cards, she really does a lot of layering and she likes frames. And remember, the other day I was telling you that one of the design team members used the castle stamp, our new Princess Land, and she did a slimline card, but she had the castle like peeking out like this. It was Charlene, wasn't it, Charlene? It was Charlene. I went and looked and made sure, and I love that card. If you guys haven't seen that Princess Land card with that Charlene made, you need to go look on the website to check it out. Okay, so I am going to make the birthday pig pop up some. So I'm going to use a piece of our new foam to do that. I'm not going to die cut it because, well, frankly, I forgot to die cut it. I should have die cut it. But because when you use our foam, you can actually die cuts all the way through and you can make it completely fill up the back of the pig. but I forgot. So I'm just going to take a piece of our full sheet foam, and I'm just going to cut off a rectangle and place it like so. And then I'm going to make another little rectangle right there. I said rectangle. I meant triangle, sorry. Just to kind of fill it in a little bit. It would have been better if I'd have just die cut the whole die, because then he wouldn't have bent. Hopefully he won't bend in the card on flying when he's flying, when he's mailing it to my actually it won't get messed up because I'm just going to hand deliver this to my nephew. All right, so there we go. He's flying across the scene. Now he's going to go on a white card front, like so, the whole card, because I could have come in here and I could make this, I could color yellow behind this and yellow behind that. However, to be honest with you, I just want to put it on white. I think that if I put yellow behind the other two circles, you wouldn't see my beautiful sun. So we're just going to leave those blank. All right, so now the only thing we have left is, I don't think I'm going to use these piggies. They just kind of, I don't know. I think my card is filled enough, so I'm going to save them for another card. But I do have some birds. So I'm going to make, you know what? Let's put some little birds standing on top of the sentiment. And whenever I make a stamp set and it has little creatures like this, like these little birds, I always try to give you, look at this one. So this is a forest critter stopping by to say hey. You see this little hedgehog, how he's facing one direction, and then this other hedgehog is facing the opposite direction. And the same thing with the snails and the mice and the birds. I try to do that. So that's what I did with with the birthday piggies, is that when I added this bird here, so this bird is a little bit larger than this bird. Do you see? But I had this bird done first, and then I flipped him around and shrank him. So you have two birds. One is larger than the other one, but they're opposite of each other. So that way, whenever you're designing your card, the same thing with the bees, that I put them facing the opposite direction. So if you want them facing each other or facing opposite directions, or however you want them to be, you can make sure that it happens. So, or if you want 3 birds all facing the same direction, you could have, or how about 2 birds going in one direction? I'm not sure. Okay, let me add some sequence. Then I'm going to come back with my birds, because I have to have sequence. So this is one of my absolute favorites mixes. And see this little piece of tape that I put right here? You know why I do that? Because I'm clumsy and I drop these things so often. And even just going from one room to the next, I've been known to drop them and they just fall everywhere. So this is not this month's, this is actually about a year and a half old, and it's called Rainbow. Is it called just Rainbow? I don't know if it's just, it's just Rainbow. But what's awesome about this is that it has white, blue, pink, and green. See, I told y'all I was spilling sequins in it. So I am going to, and what I really like is they have these, when I made the sequence mix, it has a really large yellow circle on it, this one. So and it's like a clear kind of yellow. I don't know. We have a lot of color going on here. I might have grabbed the wrong sequence mix. I wonder if just some white would look good. This might be one of those times that I need to just use clear sequence. Or hey, okay, oh my gosh, me not use sequence on a card, that would be like a mortal sin for me to do that. I would have them next to the cake like they want to get it. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So let's see. Sequence. Maybe I should go back to my birds. If I hadn't colored my birds yellow. So let's see. One little birdie here, another little birdie there, and then maybe just a few sequins. I'm going to use these white sequins. And I do think that sometimes people underestimate the color of white when it comes to sequins and embellishing. White and black are actually kind of my favorite colors. And I use them quite often when it comes to embellishing. So actually, you know what? I think 3 sequins, which I never stop at 3, but I think those 3 sequins are enough with the 2 little birdies. I think that's enough. So let's just put our little birdies down. And put this one a little bit further away. So they're not exactly even with each other. All right, let's put 3 birds. How about we have 1 bird looking like, or 1 bird. Ooh, let's just put this bird a little bit higher. How about that? I don't know. I keep looking at the screen. Yep, that's what we're going to do. You, Mr. Bird, are going a little bit higher next to your sister. Okay, so now everybody knows I talk to my critters, right? I would have them next to the cake. Well, there you go, Donna. I put them next to the cake for you. Now I'm just going to come and adhere my sequence. So this card is for my nephew who just turned 18 years old. He turned 18 in the Bahamas with his mom and sister this past week. So I had a little bit more time to make his birthday card. So we'll probably celebrate his birthday next week. All right. So then last but not least, plop this up on to this is an 8.5 by 3.5 slimline card front made out of Nina. So there you go, guys. That is it. That's my nephew's birthday card. And then I didn't put happy birthday on the outside, but I will stamp happy birthday on the inside. We do have a stamp set that's called Inside Happy Birthday Sentiments. So it's all happy birthday sentiments. And I think I'm going to use one of those on the inside. So how fun is that? And yeah, I think I am just going to leave this white behind the background. That way this yellow sun really pops. All right, guys, I'm glad you like it. Super glad. And you know what else sometimes I do? I might pop up these balloons a little bit too. Who knows? I might pop up the whole card front. But I don't ever stick my card front down live because you know what? I don't want to jinx myself. I am not joking. Because if I would adhere this to the front, it would be so crooked. It would be like unbelievable. So I'm not going to jinx myself. We're just going to do that part off when we're not live. All right, so that's it. All right, guys, so there's my birthday card for my nephew. His name is Paul James, and he is a fabulous 18-year-old. All right. Well, guys, this ends our 7th. Oh, you know what? Look, I have these piggies left too. I could just make another card with just these piggies. I could mask this off yellow and do the whole blue, but we'll do that later. But there you go. Now I can make another card with just the piggies. I always try to color all of the images in a stamp set. I don't just color like the 1 or 2. I color the whole entire stamp set because honestly, I never know what I'm going to use on a card. So, and by the way, I made these piggies dirty. See how they're very pink and brown? They're not just like pretty pigs. I kind of dirtied them up a little bit with brown. All right, guys. Well, that's it for June 2022 of 7 and 7. I used Distress ink to color my pigs. Um, if you're a beginning color watercolorist, one of the easiest ways to learn how to color with watercolor are Distress ink. They're just very, very forgiving. And if you're already familiar with the colors of Distress ink, you will save yourself a whole lot of heartache instead of trying to learn the color palette of a different, like a color palette of a watercolor set that you would buy. You have to learn those colors before you know how they interwork and play together. So a lot of times when I want to do something really fast, not fast, but when I'm coloring something like, okay, I did this card today and I knew I had to get it done, I'll grab my Distress ink to watercolor with because I really know this color palette. So that's why. Um, yes, so Distress ink. And like I said, if you don't have the Distress ink, but you have the refill, you can color with the refill also. So, or you can color with both. All right, guys. Well, have a good night. And I hope to see you next month for July 2022, which I'll give you a hint officially kicks off our holiday season. So next month, expect to see some fall colors coming through, and then Halloween and Christmas very soon also. So have a good evening, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. That's it.